So we're back with part 2 of the Decentralized Stock Exchange series. And where we left off was we just basically talked about the brainstorming of the project. I explained the difference between centralized and decentralized applications. Then I went into essentially my goal and the basic setup that I have for this project before doing any type of code and before doing any type of fundamental planning. Everything I had was just basically right off the top of the ideas. So, day 6, I mainly just did mostly marketing for not only for this series, because I feel like this series is going to help a lot of developers, especially those who are getting into blockchain and Web3. Because blockchain, not a lot of people really know this, but it's a growing industry, just like AI, machine learning, and Internet of Things. Blockchain is coming right up behind it. I know a lot of people, when they hear blockchain, they associate it with Bitcoin and Ethereum cryptocurrencies. And cryptocurrency is a huge part of blockchain, but blockchain has a lot more developments beyond cryptocurrency. And so day 6, I posted the video that I made that was from yesterday, and I just kept a simple log, as you can see now on my Twitter, and I also posted the same thing on Instagram. So whichever one you use more, I kind of appeal to both audiences, and I feel like this is a great way to not only document your work for your own personal accountability, but it's also useful too for networking purposes as well, because providing this series for people who want to get into blockchain development, this is something that's going to be beneficial for them as well. And if I ever get stuck, I have someone who wants to help contribute to the project and generate more ideas for the overall space, and just drive more people, not only for blockchain, but just for programming as a whole. So also remember, in the first video, I didn't really talk about the development setup that I have, other than the dependencies and GitHub, but I'm going to do more of that in the near futures. I won't really have a lot that talk about the tutorials. I must have that for separate videos in between as per request, but this main series is going to be just an overall view of the project. So if you are interested in things like JavaScript frameworks, blockchain application, third-party blockchain applications, and utilize Solidity and smart contracts, I'll have separate videos for all of that, but you won't really get that for the main series. The videos would just be way too long and not really encompass everything. So actually, I started the development on day 4. So I'm using JavaScript framework Vue.js, and this is just the overall general project setup. Git uses the Git protocol and connects this project to Git. Build, this is where once you push your project to production, all the files are going to be minimized, built for production. And migrations. So on day 7, I got started with building out the smart contracts, and not only I'm using Vue.js, but I'm also using a beneficial tool called Truffle for my project as well. And if you are seeking to get into blockchain development, then I highly recommend utilizing Truffle, as it just simplifies a lot of things when it comes to building dApps. And Truffle has 3 different systems. This main one is for testing projects and helping you deploy it to the blockchain. So this one's going to be the main source. I think Ganache was actually by a different organization or a different project until it just overall came together with Truffle. Truffle and Ganache is also a great application for local personalized blockchains, because when you're dealing with cryptocurrencies and you're dealing with dApps, they are immutable. So you want to do a lot of as much testing as you can, and you don't want to push anything to the mainnet, because that just backs everything up. So Ganache essentially simulates what things will operate on the mainnet. Drizzle, I'm not too familiar with, but I'll definitely take a further look at it. But we're not really going to focus too much on it. The main 2 ones we're going to focus on is Truffle and Ganache. I integrated Truffle once I built Truffle along with the project, this is the setup it came with. It came with this migrations folder, it came with this contracts folder. I think it also came with this test folder, and it also came with this Truffle config. There were a lot more associated with this, but I condensed it down to just mainly focuses on the things that are necessary. Node modules, that's where all the packages that you get from your dependencies would be stored. public. For those who are familiar with static HTML, this is where what is used to be pushed to the server and how people interact with it. And this app ID is where everything's going to be encompassed from Vue.js. Now, the source folder is the main folder that we are going to focus on, and also the get ignore, which blocks out files that will be pushed to GitHub. And I'm eventually gonna have this project to GitHub, so this is gonna be very useful. Like if I don't want to have certain data to be displayed through the commit history, then I can put that in the get ignore. Also, the package JSON file, which important too, as you can keep track of the dependencies I'm using, their version numbers as well, because these third-party softwares always change, and just helps with those as well. So on the 7th day, again, just mainly focuses on the setup of it all. This migration smart contract does actually is something that uses by Truffle, and Truffle uses the migration smart contract to handle and facilitate essentially all the subsequent migrations that come after it. Because when you create a smart contract you in a way deploy it on the blockchain, what you are doing is changing the blockchain state. And when you change the blockchain state, and so Truffle, you're gonna get a migrations JS file for each contract that you deploy. Only have one right now, and that's the token smart contract, and we'll get more into all this as well. So that's mainly what I just did for the 7th day, is navigating the migration smart contract and doing all the appropriate setups. Added this ABI folder. I think this is also default by Truffle, but when you go to compile and deploy when you come to compile your smart contract, you are going to get what is called a ABI. And the ABI is a JSON file that not only just keeps track of all the data for this particular smart contract, but whenever you have different changes, or when you do changes and new deployments for the smart contract, the ABI is a way of a manager to keep track of that as well. The ABI is going to be the thing used for posting your project on the blockchain. After I had the basic setup for the smart contracts, I went into getting a visualization of the application and how I want it to look. I was reminiscent of Robinhood, and I was looking at other pre-existing centralized stock applications and just seeing how their UI looks and getting behind the general user would utilizes. And of course, UI can change over time, and that's not an issue. So here I just have the portfolio. I was mainly focused on the meat of it. I was thinking of what are the most important data that people want to see. So the first thing that anyone wants to see is how their money moved over a certain period of time. When a person clicks on, let's say, 6 hours, it'll show how their money moved in the past 6 hours. Day, how it moved over the past 24 hours. For the month, same thing. Past season, same thing. Past year, same thing. So this data right here is just pertaining to your 24 hours exchange. Will just basically show how their money moved over the past 24 hours. Now, this balance would be the balance of the wallet, since it's decentralized. The goal of this is not to have any broker. What you see is what you have in your wallet. So this address is actually just going to show how much this address has in the value. And so when you buy up stock, it's essentially going to show the representation value of all the stocks that you own. The top mover is just going to show which stock has done the best that day. But this total return is going to show ever since you started investing, how much have you gotten overall. Down here, I just show the different stocks that person will own, or that address will own. This shows the price of the stock. The 24-hour change again shows the how far that change happened that day. And shares shows how many shares this address owns and how much of the value that this address owns. The value of the stocks, of how much that total person owns. And the portfolio percentage is also divided up by their portfolio. So the 9th day, this is where I did most of the research about the UIs of stocks and how they all operate. I was doing more so UI research. So I was just mainly taking down notes of how they have this set up, and thinking as a stock viewer, what would I want to see first, and figuring out how can I integrate that into the application as well. And lastly, we all heard about the horrible fires that consumed and are in Australia. At my startup Streamline, we are selling Bitcoin stickers, and the proceeds from those sales are going to go towards donating to Saving Australia. So if you want to help serve a cause and also get a cool Bitcoin sticker as well, I have the link to that down below. And right now, Streamline only accepts card and Ethereum, but if you want to pay in any type of currency, any type of cryptocurrency, feel free to. I'll also have my Telegram down below where you can message me on, and we can facilitate the deal like that. I hope you all have a great day. I know it was a long video, but there was good information to cover, and I'll see you in the next video. So take care.